What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. This is another one requested by St. Vina and my Patreon producer Q. That's from another rhythm game that I know nothing about and has a name that makes no sense, so I'm not even going to try to read all of that. It's by Seedbean. That's all I know, aside from it being almost 15 minutes long, so expect this to be one of those ones that I yap all the way through and give my opinions actively, because this is going to be quite a long video if I don't just get my thoughts out. So without further ado, let's go! This is also the first time I've heard of the terms Machinecore, and Vina said, what was it, extra tone? So I've got no idea what I'm getting into. That was a weird choice of a sample. I'm confused. First impressions aren't that great. I'm gonna be real with you, but we have plenty of time. The drums are weirdly mixed. Like, that's so crispy in the ears. And then the kick has no punch to it. That's really weird. Is that what they mean by extra tone? Like the random little, like, glitchy sounds in there? I'm just hearing nothing but, like, slides and arpeggiation. Which isn't bad, but it's also confusingly nonsensical. And that might be the point. But I'm still confused. Okay, now this is a change. This is so strange. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what extra tone is then, with like the random notes just kind of showing up. It'd be kind of literal with a name like that, but a very generally simple chord progression, not much complexity going on. Overlaid synths, the arpeggiating, just kind of all general slides and nothing super notable yet. Like, is this feels like it's trying to be speedcore, but the kick has no presence. The drums feel really lacking. I don't know how I feel about this one. It just kind of feels like somebody slapped their keyboard a bunch and quantized it into a beat. See, like, these are real scales. This is going up and down constantly. But at least it's making, like, sense in there. And I appreciate, like, this is in there, this, like, extra noise texture. See, at least that introduced this sound. So at least that had a purpose. Break it down to a fatter beat. I'm still not impressed by any means. It's fairly underwhelming so far. It does say it's their first album, so this might make me sound like the dick, but it feels like it's their first album, you know? And I'm sure we all know I'm not a producer of this genre, so I feel like I'm out of my depth by trying to criticize it. But so far, I'm just getting first album vibes. It's amateurish to me. It just feels like there's no cohesion to any of it. I keep hoping that something's gonna lock down, but nothing ever does. See, I keep hoping that, like, every single time I hear something that I'm like, oh, that could be something, it completely changes to something else that feels entirely disconnected. And I'm sure that that's partially the point, but like, as a rhythm game song, that would make sense. I'm finding it hard to say anything. It's kind of a nothing burger. I thought I would have more to say and comment on, but I don't think there's too much for me to say. It's just It feels like a compilation of a bunch of scrapped ideas.
I mean, at least I have an idea of what maybe extra tone is supposed to sound like. Maybe? I'm just finding it kind of difficult to listen to. Like, I'm not annoyed, but it, like I said, it's just such a nothing burger of noise. Like, there's nothing to grasp onto for me. And every single time there is, it's like, never mind, new idea. I don't even know how long I've been listening to this. Okay. A little over 10 minutes. Like, I kind of want to save my thoughts, but also, do I have any? It sounds so mean. See, again, another change where I'm like, this is starting like something completely different. There's nothing connecting this to what we just heard. It just stopped and started a new song, but it's the same song. I feel weird that I'm not like really saying or doing much. This is so much more different than I thought it would ever have been. Okay, there's something tying it back a little bit. Kind of got a motif borrowing, but it's like 10, almost 15 minutes later, we have something tying it back. And now this. Again, but for why? For why? See, like, that feels like it was trying to do something there. Like, bring it back to stuff we had heard earlier. I feel bad when I have so little to say, but I need to just summarize all of my thoughts from the listen itself, because there was so much there. But man, I'm gonna say it, Seedbean. This was kind of shit. And not because I'm a producer who knows better. I'm not. I'm just a guy who listens to music. And clearly this isn't really my scene. I'm not a rhythm game player. I'm not a rhythm game enjoyer. I don't like the gameplay of them myself, but I do love the music in them because of what they offer a lot of the time. And that is a story while also continuing on through a song. This was just a bunch of things slapped into one. It sounded like there were so many ideas for other songs in here that you were like, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to put it in this one. And it was just like a trash bin of other stuff you'd done but were never able to complete. And it kept constantly starting and stopping with those new ideas. And anytime you tried to bring something back, it was completely by then minutes detached from what it was before. And it's just like, hey, remember that? And it's just like, not really at this point. There was so much information between those last points that there's no way that those make sense or are cohesive in any way. This doesn't feel as much of like a song as it does like a sample pack of ideas that went nowhere. That's really what this feels like. I'm very confused because like there are inklings of good ideas in here. There are little bits and pieces that I'm like, hey, that could go somewhere. But then it's in this mess, and it's not even that well produced, frankly. Like, the mixing was everywhere, the sample usage was everywhere. The choice of the usual stuff that we hear, like the synths, the chiptune stuff, that's all pretty, like, cut, dry standard. You can't really mess those up unless you really suck. So clearly Seedbean has promise there. But stuff like what drum samples you were using and the way that they were mixed in there, they had no punch, they had no presence. They just felt like they were slapped underneath everything. And again, first album, not the best on the mixing. I'm not expecting it to be, you know? Like, there's always that starting point, and this is definitely, most likely, yours. And it's like, that's fine. I'm not trying to be a douche on that front. But it really just felt like this was, hey, I've got a bunch of concepts that I didn't get to fit into individual songs. Let me throw them into something with a title that frankly makes no sense, even though I know that is kind of an aesthetic in this scene. I'm still confused as to why it exists. And it even says 50-1. Like, is that supposed to be, here's 50 ideas in one song? Like, maybe that's something, but also that's too much for anyone. Any song, any concept of music is lost when you throw in this much stuff with no cohesion to any of it, no callbacks that make sense. And again, when you do, they're forever in the distance or forever from the past, and you're just never going to be able to remember all of them. So it's like, I'm just lost. This works exclusively as a rhythm game, something that's rhythm hell and constantly changes up what it's doing and doesn't allow you to settle down. For that purpose, it does its job. But that's noise, not music, in my opinion. This song, unfortunately, crosses that border of this is no longer a cohesive track with meaning and substance and purpose, and just becomes noise. Which is unfortunate because there are things in here I like. It's just none of it goes anywhere. And that is so hard to say because I hate giving things bad reviews, but I also don't know what else to give this. Because I don't know what the fuck I just listened to. And I've heard a lot of music. It's not like this is my first rodeo listening to different genres and interesting stuff. It might have been my first rodeo, at least with like Machinecore, at least as a title to that genre. I don't know, I might have heard something else like that before. Some parts of this sounded kind of familiar in approach, like speedcore and such. But also extra tone. I think I have an idea of what that is due to your song, so that's a good idea. I wouldn't necessarily call this a bad first example because I knew it was going to be a bunch of stuff all in one. But that's also exactly what makes it less impactful and a bad song. Because it doesn't feel like it's music, it just feels like it's a bunch of recycled concepts, and that sucks. And I'm sure that Seedbean has better stuff out there, especially by now. This was like 3 years old, at least at the time of this recording. So I'm sure they've put out better stuff and stuff since then. They've probably refined and controlled their idea, their sound, their approach to music, and I hope they have. That's all I've really got to say on this one. Thank you all so very much for watching. Sorry, this is kind of a bummer one. I don't like doing bummer song reviews, but again, I can't do much with what I was just handed. It could have been worse. I guess that's the best I could give it. A solid 1.5 stars. I don't tend to rate songs, but I feel like if I have nothing else to offer this one, that's the best I can do, and I'm sorry about that. I really hope there's more out there from Seedbean that's better than this one. It's just an unfortunate first experience for me, at least. But still, thank you, Vina, for putting this in here. Even though I didn't love it, it's still there, and it also shows a different side of Vina's request that I haven't heard yet, because up to this point, it's been oops, all bangers from Vina, so it's kind of nice to have one that's not as good in there, to be honest. There's some variety there that shows a personality that cares about different approaches to music and likes that variety, and that's good. As a musician, that's great, and that's why I don't like to shit on songs, because they are still there. Even if they're not that great, they're still utilized as a learning potential. They're a launch pad for better work in the future, so they're still good to be had there. So I like that Vina gave me this, because it gives me a little bit of a different perspective of this scene. And I've heard some amazing songs up to this point, but at the same time, there's also people just starting out, much like Seedbean here. So again, I really do like that, and thank you, Vina, for putting this into the queue. But if anyone else has a song they want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below, or if, like Vina, you want to guarantee that I get to something, especially if it's something quite this long, you can go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships. There is a tier where you can guarantee stuff, and I will get to it, no matter how good it is, no matter how bad it is, no matter how confusing it is, I will get to it, no matter what. It's a guaranteed request for that reason. But otherwise, if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!